What's going on, chat? How's everyone doing today? We're going to be running the intro just a little bit longer. I'm waiting for Unity to load all the assets and get everything up and running, so we're going to get started in just a moment here. Right, there we go. We are live. We are up and running. Looks like everything is good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second ever game development stream that I am doing. The first one was a little over a month ago when we made the game Snake. Today, we are going to be remaking the game Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird released, God, how do you even remember? So long ago now, and it took the charts in every app store and Google Play Store as soon as it released. And let's just take a look. Sorry, my system gone error. 1 second, chat. There we go. Got that taken care of. Sorry, chat. Yeah, so this will be our second one. Like I said, it took the charts. It blew everyone away until it did eventually get taken down due to copyright strikes. I believe it was on the audio, if I'm not mistaken. Well, regardless, to avoid those issues, I hired an artist, actually a good buddy of mine by the name of Damon. Also goes by Striker. You guys may have heard me mention him, I believe, in the last stream. As well, if you've been following me for a very long time, you may have seen other streams I've done years ago with Damon. He's a great guy, and yeah, a huge shout out to him for making all of the art and all the assets that I'll be using in today's game. I will be using one asset he didn't make, and that is the font for the text. I'll be using the original Flappy Bird font. Other than that, everything graphical-wise was completely made by him. So again, huge shout out, huge thanks to him. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that we're going to get set up... oh, one more thing I should mention. I apologize. Last time we did experience some issues towards beginning to midstream, where we started running into script errors and just some stuff that we had to work through. To mitigate the risk of that happening again for this stream, I did go and already make this game once on my second computer, just to test it, make sure it works. So I did that earlier today. It worked great. I have the full breakdown instructions as kind of like a cheat sheet in case I need it. But either way, we're going to be making this game. So let's go ahead and get started. Right now, the only thing we have in here is our scene folder, which is our sample scene, which we'll probably rename later, and the assets folder, which houses all of the gaming assets we're going to use. Let's go ahead and pull these up. So this is our demon. There we go. This little guy here is our little lesser demon. He is going to act as our bird for the game. This is our hellscape rather than a city skyline, because we are playing as a lesser demon, and because I do want to become a VTuber, and my VTuber model is going to eventually become a demon. There's a little spoiler there for you. I kind of want to stick with this theme, so that's why we got the hellscape. And because we got the hellscape, we got the demon, we didn't want to just put in like Mario Party, or sorry, Mario Pipes, sorry. So instead, I actually requested stalactites. So stalactites are, oh, whoops, sorry, there we go. So stalactites are actually natural rock formations that get formed over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And basically this is how it works. So the minerals drip down the stalactite, causing these little protrusions that you see. And when it drips down, it kind of piles up into a mineral rock formation. So technically these are rock made out of minerals. Because of that, I thought it would make a cool little cool little obstacle for our hellscape. On top of that, we also have a game over menu, and we have just a generic play button, follow which we also have a cobblestone path with tiling. That way we'll be able to spread it out and match it. That way, you know, collision, stuff like that, it'll work stuff out. And like I said, I also have the font that's at least very similar to the original game, if not the original font. Couldn't validate that, but I do believe. I got it opened up on my other monitor here. Let's see if it mentions it. It does not. It just says bitmap 14 pixel. But either way, that is what we are going to be using. So let's just jump right into it. If you guys are wondering, I estimate this stream is going to be between 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, somewhere in that range. So if you're down, we're going to get right into it. Sorry, chat, just waiting on one thing. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Apologize for that there. So this is our, we're going to be making this for PC. I was going to do an Android However, I wasn't able to figure out the communication between my phone and my PC. Now, what I mean by that is, although I was able to send the beta version to my phone and I was able to play it, I wasn't able to capture anything, any audio, because I was experimenting with that. However, the stream actually will not contain any audio, and I wasn't able to capture any of the footage. So because of that, we are going to be sticking to a Windows release for this game, which will be made publicly available at the end of this stream so that you can play it for yourself. Of course, I do that with all my games, including my last one, the Snake, which was called Soul Reaper. Used similar assets, but they were, of course, not custom, which is still available. So if anyone is interested in grabbing Soul Reaper or grabbing this game, which will be entitled Flappy Demon, you can do so by clicking the links that I tweet out on my Twitter, Skullbone Slayer. And you can download it from there. There's no ads, no in-game purchases. It's just free little games. So anyway, let's get into it here. Yeah, so the first thing we're going to want to do is set up the scene. So we're going to use our hellscape background. There we go. And we can position it. And let's see, maybe we can actually see. Yeah, why not? No, that doesn't matter. Let's see. There's nothing in particular that I want to focus on, but I do want this to be on this side. All right, yeah, I think that'll be fine. I don't think it matters too much, chat. So let's go ahead and add in our little dude. And we're going to set him in the order layer to 1. Doing this will actually make it so he's on top of the background instead of being generated behind it, which would have been stupid. So let's go ahead and make him 0.25% original scale. Actually, that might still be a little bit big. Let's do 0.2. Because keep in mind, we do need him to be able to fit through the stalactites, so we are going to need him to be on the smaller side, even if that is a little bit unfortunate. Let's see. Actually, we want the demon, now that I think about it, to be on layer 2, because we are going to have our ground layer on layer 1. There we go. And we will set the ground, wait, there we go. We will set the draw mode for the ground layer to tiled. And by doing that, we can do this. And you can see it basically just redraws it as we extend it. Doing it this way should allow us to pretty much easily animate this. And it makes it easier to line up later on. It's just going to be a quality of life thing, basically. And then, of course, we have the stalactites. We'll also set this to an order layer of 1. And we're going to need to shrink it. Let's see, make it about 0.5 for now. Oh, well, that's obviously too small. Let's do 0.8. There. Okay. So that is the lowest it'll possibly go, is there. And then the highest it can possibly go will be roughly there. Now, let's set the let's set this to, oh, it is 1, okay. Okay. So we set that to 1, we set the, no, sorry, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so we want the ground layer on 2, we want this on 1, and we want our demon on 1. This will keep the demon above the background. However, if he were to fall, it kind of goes behind a bit, which won't matter too much because we will be adding a box collider, but regardless. So now we got that set up. There we go. So yeah, demon set to 1, ground is set to 2. Next, oh, I didn't tell you guys the name. So the name of this little demon, now this is not canonical to anything related to my VTuber, but I named him Fabby. The reason I named him Fabby is because that was the name of the original bird from Flappy Bird. The original creator, I don't remember his name, unfortunately. but he named it Fabby. So to show kind of respect to him, because I loved that game, I'm using the same thing. So his little name is Fabby. Basically, let's get him set up. So first things first, let's add a rigid body 2D. This will act as our gravity, and we're actually going to set our gravity modifier to a 0.8. This will allow a little bit of a smoother decrease in altitude. And then, yeah, basically that's fine because everything else will be handled through scripts. And by the way, the scripting for this stream is going to be very simplistic and very user-friendly. So if anyone is following along either live or as the VOD after upload, you shouldn't have any trouble at all. So we're going to need the script Fabby, just to, like I said, because that's his name. And let's let's create a new folder called scripts. There we go. And let's open it up. Oh, it's loaded. Perfect. All right. Shows perfect. Perfect. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to need to declare the rigid body. We don't need this to be a public class, so we're actually going to be doing a private. So private rigid body 2D, and I'm just going to call it RB for rigid body. The other thing we are going to need in this script is going to be a public float called speed. Now the speed is going to be basically the speed that it goes up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put in the update function a very small piece of code saying when I click the left mouse button, make the little demon go up a little bit. It is as simple as that. You guys are going to see. So if we say RB equals to get component, because we are of course needing to define what RB is and which rigid body we're referring to, because we could be referring to the rigid body on this game object or on any other. So for now, we're just going to define it in the start method. It's very easy. And then next, down here in the update method, we're going to say if input.get mouse button down. And we're going to say 0. 0 refers to left mouse button. Then rb.velocity will be equal to a vector 2 because we are working in a 2D frame, so we don't really need a vector 3 for this. And then we're going to do times speed. Theoretically, that is all we need to do for that. See, Unity is very intuitive, and it kind of gets the idea of what you're trying to do. And because of that, everything in Unity is just very user-friendly. Like the rigid body takes care of gravity, angular drag, linear drag, mass acceleration, constraints. Like it handles everything. You can change the material. I don't know what Automass or Simulated do, but they are there, and you know what? They're clickable. So that's cool. But let's go ahead and test this. So during my experimenting earlier, I did find a good speed was around 4 or 5. So for now, we're just going to set it to 5. And then click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. All right, perfect. So that roughly feels like how the bird was in the original game. So you can see we turned gravity down by 20%, which, as you can see, it falls and slows down a lot slower. With a speed of 5, it doesn't go up that far, but still enough that it'll make a difference. Yes, I saved him. All right. Let's see. Perfect. Next, because I don't want to lose him like that, let's work on some colliders. So let's put a 2D collider on the ground first. So a 2D box collider. And where is it? Ah, auto tiling. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a box collider on this. And let's go ahead on Demon here on Fabby. We're going to need a... I don't know. What kind of collider should we add? I kind of just did a generic collider. You know what? Let's just do a box collider 2D, and let's see if it's too difficult. If it is, we can always change it later. That's really not a problem. So let's, we're going to shrink it down a little bit just to make simplisticness. And of course to make the game slightly easier as well. Alright, we'll make it 7 by 7. Okay, that should be good. So with a little bit of overhang, it gives just the littlest bit of wiggle room for our player to basically not kill himself. If I hit play, they should stop. Yep, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Next, let's work on our stalactites. So these guys are awesome. However, I am going to need to separate the image. This, like I said, Striker did, or Damon, did a great job of making these things. However, during practice today, I did learn that I'm going to need to change this model. I'm just going to make it a multiple and then edit in a sprite editor. There we go. By doing that, I can do this. Bam. We're going to name this stalactites _1 and apply. And then afterwards, we'll grab this one down here. We're going to do stalactites _2 and apply. And it's that easy. So just by doing that, we now have two individual transparent stalactites. One for the bottom, one for the top. So let's go ahead and make this. So we're going to line this all up. Of course, I need to put it in order layer 1. Order layer 1. Okay. Now, I believe we set a 0.8. Yep. Whoops. That's still a bit big, I think. Let's see. So that would be its lowest down would be there, and its highest up would be there. No, actually, you know what? That actually looks great. Okay, so these dimensions are perfect. That's uncommon. Nothing works out that way normally in game development, but I'm not going to argue with it. Let's go. Go away. All right. Perfect. It's basically lined up. So now we're going to take our empty game object, which we just created, and we are going to put it right around the center. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer it is, probably the better. Okay, cool. There we go. So it should be just big enough for this dude to fly through. So let's check. Okay. With him going up and down, that should be fine. If we need it to be easier or harder, we can always adjust later. That's really not a problem. Okay, so next let's make some colliders. So for our first stalactite, which apparently is the top one, we're actually going to be using a capsule collider. The reason I decided to use a capsule collider is because I can do exactly this. Perfect. So just by doing that, it basically covers it. I mean, there's nothing else here we need to do. It covers the entire thing. We can make it slightly smaller just so, like, if they're here, they don't, like, nick it on their way by. But we can also do that as well. So that's pretty much even. If they nick it, they're probably going to die anyway. And we basically do the same with the bottom one. So, again, we're going to bring it down there. And wait for it. There. We can add more colliders and stuff if absolutely necessary. But this should be fine. There's no reason to go that crazy into this. Okay, so with those 2 colliders, we can now actually hit these pipes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2. We're going to drag it onto the empty, and we're going to call the empty stalactite. And then delete game object, because I don't know why Unity kept that. All right, next we are going, so we have, the middle is what we're going to actually instantiate. That's why we created that little empty dude, and to act as a parent object, of course. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to save this as a prefab. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this prefabs, or prefab, whatever, singular is cool, and drag it down. So now we can grab and instantiate this as this entire thing. Very handy. Love that Unity does it. All right, and now I'm going to create a new script for all this. I'm going to call it rocks, because I am unoriginal. Let's go ahead and open that up. We can ignore the 20.0.16 because for some reason it keeps breaking me. Come on, no, there we go. Okay, so we are going to do 2 things in here. The first thing we're going to do is we're making a public float speed again. This will be the speed that our stalactite formations actually move towards the player in an attempt to kill. The other thing we're going to do is actually move it. So we're going to say a transform.position will be plus equals to a vector 3 dot left. So what we're saying here is go left. I don't remember the reason we needed to use a vector 3 rather than a vector 2, because I originally started coming up with all this a few weeks ago, but there was a valid reason for it, so just do it this way. I will try to remember for next time. All right, so we got transform dot position plus equals vector 3 dot left times speed, which is a controllable value, times time dot delta time, basically real time. Let's go ahead and test these out. First things first, we are going to need to assign a speed value. I'm just going to say 10 for now because it doesn't matter. And let's hit play. Perfect. So you can see it moved. A bit fast. Probably mark this down to about, say 5. We can always change it, so it doesn't make a difference. Throw the script in there. And there we go. Perfect. That is essentially the pipes. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, it's pretty simplistic. The next thing we're going to do, and this is probably going to be the hardest part of the entire game, especially for people who don't know C# or programming, we are going to create the spawn system in order to spawn the stalactites, or what would be in the normal game, the pipes, in a random orientation, or not orientation, apologies, in a random height. So basically it can be anywhere from there to there. And we want it to be able to spawn anywhere in that range to add a bit of difficulty, just like the original Flappy Bird. To do that, it's pretty simple. Let's see. We are going to add another script. But actually first, let me just delete that because we are going to create another empty first. And we're going to put it over here. Nutty, thanks for the follow, buddy. Appreciate you. Also, Nate, also thank you for the follow. I forgot to say that earlier. All right, there we go. We're gonna have it spawn off screen. That way, it doesn't look kind of weird and buggy. And let's call this the spawner. Perfect. Perfect. For the spawning of the pipes, it's pretty easy. We're going to instantiate it. So if I create a new script called spawner, there we go. There we go. We're going to assign 5 variables. We're going to need a spawn time. This is how many seconds we should wait before we spawn in our next pipe. We are going to need a timer to, of course, count until the next pipe. We're going to need a height variable that will determine how high up or down the stalactites can spawn. We're going to need a destroy time, because if we spawned endlessly and we did not destroy them once they left screen, then it would eventually crash, especially if you made this for a mobile device. So we need a destroy time, and we're also going to need to actually tell it what is a stalactite. Let's go ahead and get started. So right above our start method, let's go ahead and start defining those methods. So I'm going to keep them all public floats except for the destroy time. This way we can modify it down to the nanosecond if absolutely needed. So, come on. So spawn time will be equal to, for now we're just going to say 1 because I don't want this to ever be 0. And then, now I'm just going to turn my keyboard a little bit, guys, so I stop making stupid little mistakes like that. There we go. All right, next one we're going to say is the public float timer. We're going to keep this at a value of 0. Next one we're doing is a public float height. This one we're not going to assign a value for because it really depends on your art. It depends on so much that you don't want to assign this a value. You want to edit it in real time in the editor. The next one we're going to assign is the destroy time. So we can do another public integer this time. And we'll say die time. And we can actually... Let's set this to 10 seconds. It doesn't need to be, but for now we can. And then finally, a public game object, rock. There we go. I don't want to have to spell stalactite every time I want to reference the game object. Cool. So in the update function, we can say that when the timer has exceeded spawn time, spawn it in. To do that, we do if timer is greater than spawn time, then what we're going to want to do is we're going to say a game object new rock will be equal to instantiate, not this one, we want this one, instantiate, what do we call it? We called it rock. This needs a capital G. Cool. There we go. Next we need to, then we can randomly spawn the pipe. Basically what we're going to be saying is new rock, dot transform dot position is going to be equal to a transform dot position plus new vector 3 again 0, because again we're working with height here. Right now we're spawning it and we're giving it a random height, so we don't want it left, we don't want it right, but we want to work on the up and down. So 0, and then random dot range height. Actually, we want minus height. actually, you want this 0. My bad. So it's new vector3 0, comma, random dot range 0, comma, height, comma, 0. The reason we want that is because when we change the height, it'll be easy to give it a random range on how much to go up or how much to go down. But if we're messing with both with the assets I experienced this issue earlier. Sometimes it would just appear in the middle of the screen. I don't entirely know why, and I never really figured it out, but it happened. Next, we are going to destroy it. So we are going to say destroy new rock. And how long? Well, we are going to say destroy time, or die time, sorry. So what we're saying here, oh, also, we need to then reset the timer, my bad. And outside of this update function, we need to do timer plus equals time dot delta time. So what did we just create? So what we're saying here is if the timer ever exceeded the spawn time, which is currently set to 1 second, then we're going to make a new game object of spawning a copy of rock, which is the stalactites we created. We're going to then take the new game object, we're going to get its position, and then we are going to add to its position a random height. This random height will basically act as our difficulty. Then we are saying destroy our new game object in however long. Right now, 10. So destroy this new game object in 10 seconds and then reset the timer because obviously we just spawned. We don't need it again. Outside of this if statement in the update function, we're also saying timer will be plus equals to time.delta time, which basically means real time. So we're saying if it's not reached the spawn time limitation, add to the time. And if you guys don't know, update is called once per frame. It says it right here, which means this is going to update a lot more than once per second. So we don't need to worry about that because we're doing a plus equals. It works out. Okay, now this will work to spawn, but we are going to need some right at the beginning of the game too, of course. So we're just going to copy these 2 lines of code. We're going to paste them right up here in our start function. Because we... Wait. Actually, we should do this too. My bad. Yeah, we should have the destroy up there too, not just the first 2. We don't need to reset the timer, but that's about it. Okay, outside the if statement, perfect. Perfect. There we go. That should theoretically be all I need to do to make the spawning happen. So let's test it out. So first things first, I'm going to put our spawner script in our scripts. I'm going to grab the spawner here. And now we have all of our variables we just set up. So where's the rock? Well, it's in our prefab. Oh, pull up. There we go. And there we go. So now it's knows what this is. It's going to make it. So the die time, we'll keep it at 10. We'll keep this at 0 because I want to see it spawn properly first. And we'll say a spawn time of 2 seconds. Let's see what happens. Now we haven't actually spawned in, dying yet. So... Okay, so it did spawn in correctly, but now it seems to have stopped moving. So that's odd. Let's go ahead and add a script. Do we? Okay, that's what I thought. I thought we already created it, but there we go. It is totally possible we did not save it or something. All right, let's try it now. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, our little demon dude is going for a spin, but that's all right. So we can see this is its default. This is where it will spawn. It's 0, I guess. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So let's go ahead and actually pull up. Let's see. Actually, we're going to just lower the spawner. Let's try that. Damn. I love watching him just roll. It's so awesome and adorable. All right, let's lower it about half a cube more. And by cube, I'm referring to the grid layout. Okay, so that is going to be our minimum. Let's set the height to 5, and let's see if it in fact goes up. Okay, it did too much. So let's set the height to 4. Okay, these are good. That's good. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, there we go. So 4 seemed to actually be our magic number today. So with a height of 4, it will completely do our range. That was incredibly easy. I don't trust it. You know what? That's fine. I'm just going to set the height to 4. Spawn maybe 3 seconds because I did find that was a little fast. Die time was fine. Perfect. On our demon, I real quick, although it's so cute and adorable, I want to stop it. I want to stop the spinning. So we're going to freeze the rotation on the Z-axis. This will stop the spinning anytime it hits something. Alrighty. Next things next. So we did the spawning of the pipes. Next, I think I want to work on an animation. Yeah, let's do the animation next. So we're not animating a lot today because me personally, I'm not an animator or a graphic designer. I'm a programmer and I can do basic stuff. So because of that, we are going to only animate the ground to give the illusion of traveling, but the back is going to remain a static hellscape. If you want to make this super immersive for some reason, you can make the ground move quicker and the back move slowly to give the perception of distance. I think this will work no problem for my case use because, again, this is a demon supposedly from a hell, I don't know, layer of existence. I don't know what you want to call that. But for those reasons, this will work fine for my reasoning to just do this one down here. So we're going to expand this quite a bit. And we're going to need an animation. So let's create a new folder and name it animations. And we're going to create new, where's the animation stuff? I don't use this stuff a lot, I'll be honest, everyone. Let's see here. Create, oh, animation was right there. Okay. I'm just going to call it base. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, at the 1 minute mark, we are going to have it be here. Okay, there we go. Don't like that. Okay, hold on. Let's stop that real quick. Let's grab these two. We're going to do both tangents linear for both of these. And we can grab these two. Let's shove them down here around 3 minutes to really slow it down. Okay, next we'll turn on the recorder again. Set it 3 minutes, turn on recorder. Why does it keep doing that? That's so annoying. Hold on. Okay, set it there. Turn on the recorder. Click on here. Turn on the recorder. Click on cobblestone. There. And I just want to move it to about there. Okay. Now it should be a near seamless run. Yeah, perfect. So now, because we have this tiled, again, thank you very much, Damon, it basically looks like a endless loop, even though everyone can clearly see it's just looping itself. So that's exactly what we want. Perfect. So that's our animation. That alone will give the idea, the impression that we're moving, even though technically speaking, our dude never moves except for on the y-axis. Let's see. Next, after the animation, I want to work on the UI. The UI is going to be very simplistic. There we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a canvas. We're going to call it the game over canvas. The reason we're calling it the game over canvas is, you guessed it, it's going to be our game over screen. Hold on, I just want to move Fabby down here and right out of the way. Okay. Game over canvas. First thing we want to do is let's spawn in a couple images. So we're going to go to UI. We're going to say image. I'm going to call this the game over. Under your sprite menu, let's go to our assets. We're going to bring the game over sprite in. Now let's expand this a bit. Let's make it a 3x3 and bring it up. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. We're going to bring it down to about roughly there. I'm going to change it over to, oh, wait a minute. Nope, ignore that. Undo that. We're going to need a button, actually. So we'll go ahead and get yourself a button first. And we're going to call it play. And go ahead and just delete the text. We don't need that. Done. And 2. So we're going to say 4. Oh, no. You know what? Let's just use this. Cool. You know what? That makes this look small. So we're going to increase this a bit to 5x5. There. Perfect. So now we have a button. Now we have a game over. Next, we need to add, oh, the title of our game, of course. So let's do up here, I'm going to say UI text. We're going to call it title. In the text, we're going to say Flappy Demon. I'm going to set it to the center. We're going to keep it on normal instead of bold. Normally, I would recommend to go with a bold on your font. However, in this case, it just really doesn't work with the font. I'm not really sure why, but yeah. Okay, there we go. So yeah, Flappy Demon. Let's go ahead and grab our font right there. So again, this is our font. And now we need to just make it bigger. So perfect. So let's move these two down a bit. And we'll bring our title right to the top. Perfect. So now we have a very simplistic, basic UI system. But it doesn't actually do anything. Now we need to program it. So let's go ahead and create a game manager. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an empty. We're going to call it game manager. And it's going to have a script that's called a game manager script. It's actually unique. So game manager scripts, unlike all the other scripts in Unity Engine, have a gear icon rather than, I guess it should just be a hash or a sharp. I guess this would stand for sharp, actually. But either way, I just found that neat. I'm not entirely sure why on the reason behind that myself, but regardless. Let's go ahead and open up our game manager scripts. And we're going to need to define what we're working with. So we're going to need to define our game over canvas. So we're going to say another public game object. And we're going to say, what are we going to call this? We're actually going to, let's just call it game over UI. Perfect. And then in the start function, we're going to set timescale. I just want to preface this before I do it, because if you guys are new to game development or you're new to programming, I don't recommend you mess with the timescale very often. You may have noticed in my last stream, when I wanted to restart, I cleared everything away, I set the speed, and you took control. We're going to do it a bit different this time. This time we're going to reload the scene. Yeah, well, you guys will see. So first, like I said, we're going to set the timescale, which really messes with the game. The reason I say not to use it is because if you set it to 0, and let's say you have a bug in your code and it loops back to it, when something is set to 0, everything stops running. Your game basically freezes, and this applies to even things set to time.delta time. Everything in your game will freeze if set to 0. If set to 2, everything will be doubled. So it's basically a universal time scaler is what timescale is. I know, it's right there in the name, but now you know why I advise most people not to really mess with them unless you've done it before and kind of know what you're doing, or at least watched a tutorial or two. To do it, we're going to say time.timescale will be equal to 1. So again, we're dealing with a computer. So 1's zeros, 1 is a Boolean, so 1 is real time. So time to timescale is equal to 1. And the next, instead of the update, we can go ahead and just actually delete this entirely. We're going to make a new public void game over. And we're going to say game over UI dot set active will be true. Follow it up with another time.timescale is equal to 0. So again, I just warned everyone not to ever set your timescale to 0. Why am I doing it? Well, one thing that doesn't get affected is your scripts and your buttons. So if we set it to timescale, our guy, our little Fabby dude, he's not going to drop. The stalactites are not going to keep moving. Nothing like that will happen. However, we will still be able to click the play button, which in effect is going to reload the game. This use case, it makes sense to use the timescale. Again, use at your own risk. We will also need to modify our lesser daemon script with a private void. So here's our Fabby. I'm going to do a private void on, oh no, that's not it. On collision enter. Whew, all right. So got our on collision enter event. This is on Fabby, our daemon. If it collides with something, you should die. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do game manager dot game over, and that's it. Oh, wait. My bad. There. Okay, let's save that and go back into Unity for a second. Let's click on our daemon, Fabby, and you can see Game Manager. We're going to drag this in. Also, drag your Game Manager to the top of your hierarchy. Unity, I believe Unreal Engine and Game Maker also work this way, where it works by going through your hierarchy in priority. So first priority in my hierarchy is your Game Manager. My second priority is the camera. So it goes through and it goes like that. So for example, if we are running a, let's say transform.find function, or transform find by tag, or transform find, whatever, it will go through your hierarchy and it will check this first. Nope, tag is untagged. Check next. Main camera, wrong tag. Check next, untag. Check next, untag. Check next, untag. It'll basically go through that. So the higher up in your hierarchy, the more important and the less resources it'll take to call. Whew. All right. A lot of talking. So we have our game manager here. We have our game over UI, which is right here. We'll drag it in. And we will disable it. And we have our little demon dude. There we go. And I believe that should do that. Let's test. And let's drop. Okay. So what went wrong? On collision enter. We did add, yeah, we have a box collider. Okay. Oh, wait, we haven't actually programmed that yet. Never mind, now I know why it's not working. Sorry, yeah, we're good. Okay, I got ahead of myself. I thought we already programmed it. We have not. That's actually what we're going to do now, though, so that I don't do the same mistake again. So next, what we will want to handle is how to restart the game after we lose. Canvas should be up. In our game manager script, we are going to do some stuff. All right, so we got that. Next thing we're going to do is public void restart. Sure. Scene manager dot load scene. I'll explain what this does in a moment. Oh, right, sorry. Also, make sure you're importing the library Unity engine dot scene management. There we go. So what this is saying is when you do restart, scene manager is going to load scene 0. Now again, computers start at 0, so it's going to load the first scene that is set up. In Unity's case, if you go to your build settings, you can see your scenes here. So sample scene is set to 0. I hope that makes sense. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to need the play button, and we're going to set it the game manager and the game manager restart button. There we go. Make sure you're saving, by the way, everyone, periodically. It's very important. Get out here, buddy. So, let's find out why on collision enter didn't work. Oh, whoops. Well, there we go. It didn't work. Why? Could it be because it's private? Let's try making that public. There we go. Game manager dot game over. On collision enter. Yup. Let's do a debug.log. Let's see if we're actually reaching here. My go-to is a WTF when I'm using a debug.log. A little fun fact about me there. That is strange. Why is that happening? Let's see. We have our box collider set up. It does not need to be a trigger. Let's go up to my colliders here. remove the component completely. Okay, I see. All right. Mass is fine. Free Z, that won't cause anything. Okay, let's add a 2D box collider. And, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're working in 2D, guys. We needed a on collision enter 2D. My bad. All right, I bet it works now. Let's test it. Okay. Public void on collision enter 2D collision. Yep. Let's reload our scripts just in case. There we go. Okay, you can see it paused our game. We can hit play and it restarts. We were able to fix that issue, luckily. Perfect. Perfect, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we can see we now have a fully, basically working Flappy Bird. Well, Flappy Demon, I suppose. But there's still one thing that I really want, and that is a score system. Because, well, just like I had with Soul Reaper, the Snake game. It's always good to have a score, because then you actually have something that your players can challenge themselves to beat. And if you have a global high score system, then you have really competitive people that will want to top those charts. So scores often help actually hold attention to games. That's why they're so important. So let's go ahead and get started on that. First things first, we're going to need a second canvas. We're going to call this the scorekeeper. There we go. Okay, the only thing we're going to have in here is just a very simple UI text. The text will be 999, and go away. We're going to do, let's see, where is best fit? There's best fit. Go away. Okay, so there's best fit. Let's make it center, and let's make it bigger. I almost forgot. I need to also give it our custom font. There it is. Okay, let's put it at the top of our screen. Oh, no, that looks horrible. Okay. Okay. I'm just messing with things a little bit, guys. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to make it just a little bit nicer. There we go. Okay. It's a bit blurry, but for now, I'll just accept it. I can work on it a bit after stream work there, make it a little bit more polished. For now, it's acceptable. Let's create a new script on our text here, and we're gonna call it score with capital C. Score is actually going to be a pretty simple, easy to do thing. Why didn't it open? Score. Hello, where'd you go? Cool. What we're going to do is right at the top, we're going to create a static variable. We're going to create a public static integer named score, and we're going to have it equal to 0 because, again, we're starting from 0, work your way up. Right at the start, we're going to solidify that. We're going to say score equals 0. And the update function, however, that is where things get fun. We are going to do get components Unity Engine UI dot text dot text open close dot text again will be equal to score. Dot toString. Cool. So this will be able to keep track of our score and update it as the game plays. Yep, don't need to worry about that. And then what we're going to need is, let's go ahead and open up our prefab again. And we're going to create an empty on this, and we're going to name this goal. Why not? The goal is going to award our player, demon, whatever you want. It's going to award you with a point for getting through it. And because we're getting through it, I am going to offset it a bit from the center to this side. And we're going to give it a box collider. Okay, some of you are probably thinking, if you have a box collider, isn't it going to kill you instead of giving you a point? Well, no, we're going to hit it as is trigger. What that means is that although it's a collider, you don't actually collide with it. Basically, what's happening is this is like a ghost collider almost. It detects when something collides with it and spits out a signal, but you can hit it and it won't activate your collider. Very handy. We're going to make a new script called add score. Okay, I guess I have to click it manually, but whatever, that's fine. Not a big deal. Is it just not opening? What's going on today? There we go. Whew. All right, so we are going to do this. Delete it all. Private void on collision enter on trigger enter 2D. My bad. We're basically going to say score dot score plus plus done. So because we made it a static variable rather than just a standard integer, we can actually call it from any other script without having to reference that script within the script. I know, scriptception, it's insane. Perfect. Let's see if that works actually. Oh, I'm gonna need to save this though. Yep. So click on the stalactites. Oh, looks like it saved itself, so that's handy. Okay. Okay, so it reset itself to 0. And there's 1. Okay, so the score is working. Let's turn down the size of the text a bit, like maybe a 7 by 7. That actually looks quite nice. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Cool. Okay, there's 1. Okay, let's work on little dude here. Because clearly our hitbox is a bit too big. Let's go ahead and lower that. So again, you do want that little bit of overhang, but you don't want it to be so difficult that your players don't enjoy playing your game. Like, that would be total and utter asinine bullshit. So let's go ahead and try it now. Oh, that's adorable. Okay, well, maybe we should turn it up just a little bit, but for now. Perfect. So it seems to be working, and okay, so there was a bit of touch there. Okay, cool. I am going to increase it just a little bit here. Here's one thing. Let's do a 6x6. Screw it. There we go. That right there is a perfect square according to geometry. Let's see how it is now. Yeah, perfect. That's actually a very nice, smooth little game. And there we go. So we got our 4. I do want to do one more thing. So for now, I'm going to disable Scorekeeper. And I'm going to turn on the game over. I'm going to put score down here and high score over here. Looks good so far. I think you should change something with the score when the title screen is showing. Either move it or make it invisible. I completely agree. So, hold on. Zephyr from Minnesota. Well, hello. How you doing, Zeph? It's been a while, buddy. I completely agree. So what I'm thinking of doing here... Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. I didn't get it at first. I'm not gonna lie. It was longer than I'm used to. I'm used to just Zeffy, but it's all good. Yeah, so what I was thinking of doing is basically have the Scorekeeper disabled, and then enable this with the score down here, because we can just pull it. It's a static. And then we can have the high score over here. And then, again, using player prefs, we can save the high score. So we're going to do that super quick. Okay. Yeah, so let's just get into it. So UI text, we're going to call it score. There. There we go. Score. Let's move it down and this way. Okay, next we're going to increase it quite a bit. Oh, uh-oh. Ah! See, it's too big. Let's move it down. Okay, and let's try changing the color. I'm thinking more of a white for this. Yeah, it goes with the color scheme. Okay, perfect. So we're going to have the score and high score as white. Have it over here. Okay. Now we're going to create another quick script. This is going to handle our score at the end and our high score. So, and I'm not going to lie, this is the one part I didn't get to test pre-stream. So let's hope for no errors. And my cat is joining us. That's fun. Let's do it. Okay. First thing we're going to do is public integer score. Let's see. equal to 0. Next, we're going to do a public game object text. Oh wait, score text, and then a public game object h score text. Cool. In our start function, we can easily do this. So we're going to say score text is equal to score dot score. Oh, I did it the wrong way around. Score dot score. Okay, I'll just make it a float then. Score dot get. What is it? We just did it, didn't we? Here, we're gonna just basically copy it. We don't need to do this all fancy stuff. Get component unity engine.ui text score.toString. Score will be equal to I don't know why I did that the hard way. It's 3 words. I don't know, and they're all score. I don't actually know why I was trying to do that the hard way. Like I said, I normally plan this stuff out. This is the one thing I didn't get to. So we have the score. Now we can do get component unity engine.ui.text score.toString. Let's go ahead and save it. Let's just see if that works real quick. And let's set this to 0. Okay. H score text. Or no, score text. There we go. Oh, right. Yes, because we did it in the start method. We'll actually have to disable it in order to test. Cool. We actually also need to get a point. Okay, score 1. Perfect. So that's working. Now, what we can do is player prefs dot get integer h score. Let's set this to, we're going to need an integer. We're going to need a public integer h score. And then we can do h score is equal to if score is greater than h score, player prefs dot set integer score. H score score. Is it because it's a float? Yes. Well, let me get away with it this time. It will. Okay. Theoretically, that will work. Let's now create the text we need for h score though. We can just duplicate that, actually. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to do... Okay, there we go. Get component. We're just gonna... Okay. So we're saying if score is greater than high score, or H score in this case, player prefs, so save as score as the new high score. Else, we're going to say H score text.getComponent.text will be equal to high score, or H score. H score dot toString specifically. Yeah, okay, perfect. And then we'll also need to do it here. Perfect. And we won't need this because we're not calling it. Okay, let's test it. Oh, actually, there was one more thing I just wanted to do. Duplicate, go up here, get rid of this, and we're going to change the text to new. And we're going to have it on active, and we're going to say public game object NH score. This will be the text new. And then if score is bigger, then we're going to do NH score dot set active true. And then right at the top, actually no, that will be good. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill in here. So high score, text, and we can put this under high score as well. Then underscore, because this is where we put our script. Not that it really matters. We need the text for high score. And then we need... No, sorry. We need that there, and we need score here. Okay. Let's test, guys. We need to disable this, guys. First of all, save. Second of all, turn that on. Second of all, undo that because that was a mistake. That was stupid. And now we can undo that. Okay, score 1. New, high score 1. Let's play again. 1, 2, 3, die. Score 3, new, high score 3. Now if I die, score 0, high score 0. That's an issue. But the new didn't pop up. That's good. Oh, right. I also need to do that. I also need to do another public game object old score. And then we can do old score dot set active will be set to false. By setting this to false, just like Zeph or Jeff said earlier, it will actually get rid of this 999. There. So that fixes that little thing. Now the only thing we need to worry about is why it's not setting it. So player prefs.set integer h score score. Right. And why isn't that what? Right. Okay. So if active is true, new high score is true. This could still be H score. Maybe that was what the issue was. Let's test it. This is the last thing we need to get working, and then we're good to go. Ah, there we go. High score 3, score 0. High score 3, score 0. Let's get 1 point. High score, score 1, high score 3. Okay, now we need to get a high score of 4. Fuck. Oh, by the way, the 999 goes away, so that works. I'm not very good at this game. To be fair, I also don't remember being good at the original Flappy Bird, so kind of works out. Here we go. 4. That's interesting. And then it updates, so... What? Which one's unassigned? You know, let's just no. I think I was dumb. Hold on. I might have been very dumb. Again, it happens a lot. Four. Variable old score. What? Oh. Okay, well that's just broken, I guess. It's telling me that old score isn't available even though it's behaving exactly as I programmed it to. So I need to make 5 of these. Oh my god. Come on. Oh, come on. For the record, chat, I do remember my high score being around 4 in actual Flappy Bird. So I do also remember enjoying it though. Whoa, that's a new one. I was very low. Okay, good God. Okay. I just need to get through this so I can test. There we go. Die. Fuck. Score not kick. I feel like we've already tested this, but I'm still gonna try it anyway. Don't look at that. Oh no. Okay. All right. Okay. We are going to do this. Player prefs dot set integer h score 0. Okay, there we go. Let's run the game. Let's die. Beautiful. Now we can get rid of that. And now we can continue testing. One, new high score. 1, 0, 1. Okay. That's fair. 1, 2, die. There we go. Chat, that right there is Flappy Demon or Flappy Bird, whatever you prefer. Total stream time, roughly about 1 hour, 20 minutes. So right around what I predicted. We went a little bit over, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to fully make this game available just like I said. I'm going to get that going right now, actually. Let's set it up. Let's do player settings. All right. Let's set it up to builds. All right. And let's let it run. There we go, everyone. So that is today's stream. I hope everyone here enjoyed it. If you do, consider dropping a follow. It helps me out a lot. I'm working on my road to affiliate. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Like I said, sorry, I'm working on my road to affiliate. So if any of you did enjoy this content, want to see more, drop a follow. Follow me on Twitter. That is where I'm going to announce when I do game dev streams. I'm also periodically live, just playing games, hanging out with some friends, so check that out too. I'm also going to be uploading this VOD to my YouTube channel, which is Skullman Slayer on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, again, maybe follow it, make the game for yourself, maybe using different assets, so it's a bit more customized, just like mine. Again, huge shout out to Damon or Striker for making these assets. I did pay him for them, but he did an amazing job, and honestly, just, yeah, huge thanks to him once again. I would also like to say a thanks to a YouTuber who I did take a bit of inspiration from for making this. His name is Valem. He did a Flappy Bird 10-minute video. I obviously couldn't do that, but I often ran into troubles when I was making this game during the first run, and he did it very similarly to how I did it, which is very simplistic. So I watched that, so I also recommend you guys check that out as well. Otherwise, I'm going to be go ahead and ending the stream off here. I'm just waiting for the build to finish. Oh, actually, the build did finish. What am I talking about? Okay. Let's see. Just need one more thing. I'm going to now I'm now going to upload. Okay, come on, Mediafire, let's go. Okay, my files. There we go. Okay, let's upload. Uh-oh. Give me one brief second. I'm going to be putting this on intermission just so you guys don't see my desktop while I deal with the mistake I just made. There. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to rerun this. Again, this game is called Flappy Demon. Desktop. Okay, I'm just compressing it now for you guys. There it is. All right, I'm beginning the upload. Oh, it's already done. That was, wow, that was quick. Make sure it worked. Okay, I'm now going to post it in the chat here. If anyone is interested in getting it, feel free to click on that link and download it as soon as it does become available. I'll go ahead and set this back to my main stream here. And now you can see the Flappy Demon. So all you're going to do when you download this, you're going to extract the zip folder and double click the flappydemon.exe. And now let's play. One other thing I really want to do is add audio. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do that today, but that's fine. And as you can see, the game works, guys. So I'm going to be ending it off here. Thank you all for tuning in again. Take care, everyone. And I'm going to see you all in the next stream. See y'all later.